So let's note that a year and a half in is still extremely early. This just happened. It just happened. And year two in a lot of ways is harder than year one. You've got all of this messaging from the outside world, like, oh, it's been a year, you should be fine. And year two is when you're like, oh, this is permanent. I did the whole first year. I did a great job. You're supposed to come back now. Year two is like, fuck, wait, I have to live this. Yeah. That's really, really intense. And that whole thing of like that Instagram post that you're referencing was, me saying when my partner first died, people were like, don't worry, you won't always feel this way. And I'm like, that sounds terrible, right? Because if I'm no longer bothered by this, what does that mean? Right? If there's ever a moment when this doesn't destroy me, how does something like that get right-sized? It's such a deep, big thing. And I remember a year and a half. I remember the second year. I remember those things being like, exactly as you said, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this because this sadness, this pain is everything. And it's not going to get smaller. It's like it feels terrible to think that it will go away, that one day this will just be no big deal. I think that's the thing. It's like this presumption that that our goal here is that eventually this will be no big deal. Like that is so rude. It's rude to the relationship, it's rude to you. So one thing I would say, you don't have to let go of the pain of this, no matter what anybody else says, right? Like you don't have to let it go. It's here. It's going to take up the space that it takes up. So I think we just do this to people, to grieving people, is we say you have to let go of the pain so that you can move on, or so that you can feel the love that's available. And that is trash. This pain is here. It is real. It gets a space at the table, right? The more people, or even yourself sometimes say like, I shouldn't be this way. Don't be a victim here. Like, don't wallow in this. It's not going to go anywhere, right? So it's here. You don't have to let go of it. I think the rest of that Instagram post, as I remember, is that this will shift of its own volition, of its own timing and its own cadence and its own rhythm. I love my life, and Matt's dead. Both of those things are true. I would not have this life that I have built and that I love if he didn't die. That's never not going to be weird. Whatever life unfolds for you in the weeks, months, years to come, it's never not going to be weird, but it will shift and change and feel right is the wrong word, but feel correct for you in a way that is not possible to see or understand or plan for now. If you think about it, like if you ask a kindergartner what they want to be when they grow up, their answers can only come from the way they understand and see the world as a 6-year-old, right? I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a dancer, any of those things, and their ideas of what that is. If you try to decide or imagine or plan for what this life for you is going to look like in 3 years or 4 years or 10 years or 20 years, you aren't that person yet. You don't have that information. Right now, it is this. One of those original Writing Your Grief students has a tattoo that she shared with us that says, right now it is like this. When she is doing that sort of future tripping thing, how am I going to live with this forever? You don't have to live with this forever. You have to live with this right now, today. What is this like for me today? Right now it is like this. Right now, this pain feels precious to me. Okay. Right now it is like this. There is a big difference between letting pain exist when it exists and collapsing into victimhood. The difference is, do you weaponize that pain, right? Do you use it to justify helplessness? Do you say, I am grieving, I am sad, it is your fault, and you need to come and do all this over here because I can't, right? Like that is different than I am in pain and I deserve to feel cared for and supported and to allow myself to feel what I feel as I feel it. That's not a victim stance. That is an empowered stance. That is personal agency. That is sovereignty over what is. It just so happens that what is very sad.